Jasmine Pineda fired and ordered back to Panama. Court steps in as fans outraged over apology to Gino. 4 years, Jasmine Pineda has been one of the most polarizing names in the entire Fiancé universe, from the moment she appeared on screen. Fiery, unpredictable, emotional, and unfiltered, viewers knew she wasn't just another cast member. She was television chaos wrapped in drama, passion, and controversy. But no one could have predicted that the same intensity that made her famous would lead to what insiders are now calling one of the most shocking downfalls in the franchise's history. This is the beginning of how Jasmine went from TLC headliner to being fired for misconduct, dragged into legal trouble, and reportedly ordered by the High Court to return to Panama. And just when the world thought she'd disappear in disgrace, she stunned viewers again by meeting with Gino to apologize, a moment that sparked outrage among fans who say forgiveness should not even be on the table. What happened behind the scenes? What accusations forced TLC to cut ties? Why did the legal system get involved? And what really went down when Jasmine came face to face with Gino after everything she put him through? Let's dig into the beginning of the storm. The rise of Jasmine Pineda, a reality TV flashpoint. Before the scandals, the lawsuits, the legal threats, and the public meltdown, Jasmine was seen as one of TLC's biggest draws. Her debut with Gino Palazzolo instantly ignited social media. Fans didn't politely discuss Jasmine, they fought about her. Some called her passionate and entertaining, others labeled her controlling, manipulative, and unstable. Even her biggest supporters admitted one thing: Jasmine didn't just bring drama, she was the drama. She cried, screamed, threatened to leave, accused Gino of everything imaginable, and then begged for reassurance. She destroyed his belongings, stalked his phone, argued with his family, and exploded over the smallest triggers. TLC had never seen anything like her, and they knew she was ratings gold. But that was the problem. Viewers tuned in for chaos, and Jasmine delivered it so consistently that producers began walking a tightrope, balancing what was entertaining with what was becoming a legal and contractual nightmare behind the cameras. Still, the show pushed ahead, knowing every episode featuring Jasmine and Gino drew intense reactions. Even when fans criticized her behavior, they watched, commented, and argued. And in reality, TV controversy is currency. But not every fire can be controlled. Growing tensions with TLC producers. Production insiders claim that Jasmine's off-camera behavior was often more chaotic than anything viewers saw on screen. Multiple reports suggest she argued with crew members over filming schedules, violated filming boundaries by refusing scenes or leaking info, fought with producers over contracts and payments, threatened to quit multiple times mid-season, tried to control editing decisions and storyline directions. One source reportedly said she wanted to run the show, and when things didn't go her way, she'd exploded everyone. Gino, the crew, the handlers, even the translators. It was constant tension. TLC allegedly tolerated it because Jasmine's episodes performed well, especially internationally. But behind closed doors, producers were keeping track of every meltdown, especially the ones that crossed contractual lines. And then came the breaking point. The misconduct allegations that changed everything. Insiders claim that Jasmine was hit with multiple misconduct warnings leading up to her termination. The issues reportedly fell into 3 major categories: on-set outbursts and aggressive behavior. Several crew members allegedly complained about Jasmine's confrontational attitude. Some claimed she yelled at producers, refused direction, and made the working environment stressful and volatile. There were rumors of at least one heated confrontation where security had to step in, not for physical violence but to de-escalate tensions before they spiraled. Breach of confidentiality. TLC reportedly became concerned when Jasmine began posting unapproved content online, leaking behind-the-scenes arguments and private production details. She occasionally hinted at unreleased storylines in Instagram Lives and threatened to expose things, unless she got what she wanted. To a network that values controlled narratives, this was a massive red flag. Legal disputes, and contract violations. There were whispers that Jasmine may have attempted to renegotiate or challenge her contract terms in ways that weren't permitted. Some reports suggest she failed to comply with agreements regarding filming obligations, travel approvals, and network image standards. Whatever the full story is, one thing became clear: TLC's patience was gone. The final straw: TLC pulls the plug. According to internal leaks, Jasmine was officially dropped after a final incident involving escalated misconduct that forced producers to file an internal report. The exact details haven't been released, but sources describe it as an unrecoverable breach of trust. One insider put it bluntly: she pushed too far and the network didn't want to deal with the liability anymore. They cut ties fast. The firing was said to be swift and absolute. No final interviews, no tell-all segments, no spin-off discussions, no second chances. Her contract was reportedly terminated and all upcoming appearances were cancelled. Fans initially thought it was just gossip until the High Court revelation changed everything. Legal shock: court orders Jasmine to return to Panama. The most stunning part of the scandal isn't the firing. It's the legal action that followed. Reports now claim that Jasmine was ordered by a high court to return to Panama, raising urgent questions about her immigration status and whether TLC's termination cut off the sponsorship or legal standing she relied on. Immigration experts speculate the court order could be connected to one or more factors: loss of visa validity tied to employment, violation of visa terms while filming, legal complaints involving Gino or production, expired documentation due to contract termination. Whatever triggered it, the decision reportedly wasn't just a request, it was a ruling. For someone who had built her entire identity, career, and public life around being in the US with Gino, this was a nightmare scenario. But rather than disappearing in silence, Jasmine made a move that stunned everyone. The unexpected meeting: Jasmine reaches out to Gino. After news of the court orders surfaced, Jasmine reportedly made contact with Gino. Some claim she showed up in person. Others say they arranged a private meetup to talk. What's certain is this: she apologized. According to witnesses and insiders, she became emotional and told Gino she regretted everything. The fights, the humiliation, the pain. She acknowledged the damage she'd done and reportedly told him she never wanted things to end like this. Some sources claim she was crying, others say she was calm but desperate. Was it closure, strategy, genuine remorse? Only the two of them truly know. But fans, they didn't react with sympathy. Fan outrage: don't forgive her. As soon as word spread that Jasmine apologized to Gino, the internet lit up with fierce reactions. A tidal wave of commenters made it clear: they do not believe she deserves forgiveness, sympathy, or any future with him. Popular fan reactions included: she dragged that man through hell. Now she's sorry because she's being deported. Apology doesn't erase years of humiliation and abuse. She needs to face consequences. No more chances. To many viewers, her apology isn't redemption, it's manipulation. They believe she's only being remorseful now because everything has fallen apart. And that's just the beginning of the backlash. Jasmine's shocking apology to Gino stunned everyone who has followed their roller coaster relationship over the years. For many, it felt like a plot twist no one expected, not because she lacked the capacity to say sorry, but because of when she chose to do it. After her firing, after the High Court ruling, and after her reputation began imploding in real time. But part 2 of this unfolding scandal goes far beyond a tearful private meeting. Behind the scenes, legal teams, editors, network execs, and immigration authorities are moving fast. Meanwhile, Gino's world has been thrown into chaos as fans pressure him to stand firm and refuse reconciliation. This section takes you inside. What insiders say really happened during the apology, how Gino responded. The legal and immigration complications now in motion. TLC's quiet attempts to contain the fallout. Fan reactions turning into organized outrage. Why Jasmine's next steps could decide her future forever. Let's get into it. Inside the apology, what really went down? The public only knows one thing for sure. Jasmine apologized. But witness accounts are painting a more complex picture. According to sources close to production and people connected to Gino, the apology wasn't just a quick "I'm sorry." It was a deeply emotional encounter prompted by mounting consequences. Several reports suggest Jasmine reached out first, asking to meet privately. She appeared emotional, stressed, and overwhelmed. She told Gino she regretted how things had escalated. She admitted she never expected to lose everything this way. She said she didn't want to leave the US with bad blood between them. She reportedly told him, "I didn't come here to destroy you. I came because I loved you." Some insiders claim she even asked for his support in her legal ordeal, either emotionally or through a written statement. Others say she hinted that TLC and the legal system had turned on her and that she had nobody left on her side. But the biggest question everyone is asking, what did Gino do? Gino's response: shock, silence, and speculation. People who claim to know Gino say he was visibly uncomfortable and conflicted, even after everything, her jealousy, the fights, the emotions. Emotional outbursts, the humiliation on camera. There's history between them that he can't ignore. Here's what insiders allege about his reaction. He did not yell or cause a scene. He listened quietly and allowed her to speak. He was described as surprised and cautious. He reportedly said he needed time to think. He made no promises and did not offer support immediately. He did not embrace or comfort her physically. One person close to him shared, "He's not heartless. He just doesn't trust her, and he doesn't want to be manipulated again." To some fans, that sounded like strength. To others, it sounded like the beginning of another cycle, with a dangerous emotional cost. The legal mess why the High Court stepped in. The rumor that Jasmine was ordered to return to Panama by the High Court exploded online, and many viewers were confused. How does a reality star go from filming drama to facing judicial intervention? Immigration and legal experts weighed in with possible scenarios. 1. TLC termination may have cancelled her visa sponsorship. If her legal ability to stay in the US was tied to employment or contractual obligations, being fired could have triggered an automatic immigration review. 2. Immigration violations could have surfaced. If she overstayed, misrepresented details, or violated travel or residency rules during filming, a court could rule for expedited removal. 3. Legal complaints tied to production or personal conduct. If anyone, Gino, producers, or a third party, filed formal complaints, the situation could escalate quickly. Court orders like this don't appear out of nowhere. It means paperwork was filed, reviewed, and approved. The ruling implies one thing. The court has determined her presence in the US is no longer valid or authorized. And without TLC backing her, she may have lost her final shield. TLC silent panic, damage control in motion. Networks do everything in their power to avoid scandal blowing back on them. And insiders claim TLC is already working behind the scenes too. Edit Jasmine out of remaining footage where possible, cancel upcoming segments featuring her, scrub promotional materials for spin-offs or specials, avoid public statements to limit liability, monitor social media to assess fan reaction. Some fans believe TLC may even try to reframe the scandal through cast interviews or selective edits to distance themselves. One production source reportedly said, "They don't want this turning into a lawsuit. They don't want blame. They want it gone." Others speculate TLC might try to monetize it, using subtle references or dramatic voiceovers without ever allowing Jasmine herself to appear again. Either way, the door appears closed. Fans on fire. Outrage turns into a movement. Jasmine has always had her critics, but this time the reaction is overwhelmingly one-sided. Many viewers feel she spent years emotionally abusing Gino, humiliating him publicly, destroying his belongings, exploding over jealousy and control, making threats during filming, turning every situation into chaos. Now that she's apologized, the majority of fans aren't buying it. Comments across Facebook, Reddit, TikTok, and Instagram include, "She's sorry because she got caught and lost her status. Apologies don't erase manipulation. She showed no mercy to him on screen. Why spare her now? Gino better not fall for it again. Good. Ship her back, she's done enough damage." A growing number of fans are calling on Gino to refuse any reconciliation, decline legal involvement on her behalf, speak publicly about her treatment of him, move on with his life permanently. Some are even pushing TLC to expose the real reasons behind her firing and deportation ruling instead of sweeping it under the rug. Where Jasmine stands now. Alone, cornered, and running out of options. With no guaranteed platform, no confirmed legal support, no employment backing, and public sentiment against her, Jasmine is in a position she never imagined. Sources close to the situation claim she has broken down emotionally multiple times, told friends she feels abandoned and betrayed, considered leaving quietly without speaking to media, struggled financially due to lost income from filming, reached out to people she previously clashed with. There are even whispers that she may attempt to launch her own social media series or expose behind-the-scenes secrets. But, without a valid U.S. stay, that may not even be possible. Everything now hinges on what happens next. With Jasmine Pineda's firing from TLC confirmed, her court-ordered return to Panama looming, and her apology to Gino triggering uproar across the Fiancé's fanbase, the story has entered its most intense and uncertain phase yet. What happens now could determine the rest of her public life and possibly Gino's as well. This final part digs into the consequences, the final choices she faces, how Gino will move forward, what TLC is preparing behind the scenes, and how fans may shape the legacy of one of the franchise's most explosive personalities. Will Gino help or walk away for good? Right now, Gino sits at the center of a situation he never asked to be in. After years of public humiliation, emotional blow-ups, and unpredictable attacks from Jasmine, he finally broke away only for her to show up and apologize after everything collapsed. And fans? They've made their position crystal clear. Do not forgive her. Do not help her. Do not save her from the consequences. Those close to Gino describe him as calm, but guarded. He's sympathetic enough to hear her out, but not foolish enough to jump back into chaos. Sources say he has not agreed to sign any documents, provide a character statement, or lobby against her deportation. One friend reportedly said, he's not going to ruin his peace to fix her problems, not again. If Jasmine expected him to fight for her, reality may be settling in fast. She is on her own. Can she appeal the court's decision? Legally, her options are limited and shrinking by the day. If the High Court ruling is tied to visa expiration, loss of sponsorship, immigration violations, breach of legal agreements tied to TLC, complaints connected to personal conduct, then she may only have one shot to appeal, and those appeals are rarely granted unless backed by strong legal arguments and supporting documents. Without employer backing, relationship sponsorship, or financial leverage, Jasmine is facing what insiders describe as a fast-track removal scenario. If she doesn't comply voluntarily, she may face forcible deportation and bans on re-entry. Will Jasmine expose TLC or fight back publicly? Here's where things could explode further. People close to her say she feels abandoned and used. The TLC allegedly exploited her for ratings and then cut her off when the heat got too high. Some believe she's considering speaking up publicly or threatening to reveal private production drama. What could she expose? Potential topics include edited fights viewers never saw, alleged manipulation by producers, off-camera pressure during filming, conflicts with staff and cast members, contract disputes and pay issues. Her claim is that she was pushed to act wild for screen time. But here's the problem. Her NDA, non-disclosure agreement with TLC, could result in lawsuits or fines if she leaks anything not legally protected by whistleblower rules. If she crosses a certain line, the network could come after her hard. How TLC plans to move on without her? The network is focused on cutting ties cleanly. Industry insiders suggest they're already editing episodes to reduce her screen time, scrapping footage planned for spin-offs, advising cast members not to comment on her publicly, avoiding direct acknowledgement of the deportation scandal, adjusting fragments of Gino's storyline depending on audience response. Some fans suspect TLC will later release a Where Are They Now special, but only when she's out of the country and unable to interfere. Others think they may try to bury everything, the same way they've quietly erased past controversial cast members. What happens if she's deported back to Panama? If removal proceeds, Jasmine's life will change overnight. She will likely return without guaranteed housing or employment, lose access to TLC income and sponsorship deals, struggle with US-based brand partnerships, be cut off from US filming without a visa, face media backlash both in Panama and online. Her only option for income may become social media content, paid interviews, or OnlyFans, But even that depends on whether she maintains internet access, audience interest, and emotional stability. Some believe she may try to use the scandal to create international attention, rebrand as a victim or truth-teller, launch Spanish-language content aimed at Latin American audiences, seek a tell-all interview with a third-party outlet. Others think she'll disappear completely for a while, either by choice or by force. Fan-led judgment. The final verdict. Online, even if courts and networks step back, the court of public opinion hasn't let go. Comments are harsher than ever. This is karma. She treated Gino like trash. An apology after years of abuse is not enough. Send her home and don't bring her back on any show. Gino deserves peace for once in his life. She's crying now because she lost everything. She only says sorry when she needs something. Petitions have surfaced in fan groups calling for TLC to ban her permanently, refuse any future appearances, and protect Gino from being pulled back into her influence. Is this the end of Jasmine's day fiancé era? Barring a miracle or legal upset, this looks like the final chapter of her time on American television. Her firing has burned her bridge with TLC. The court has cut off her path to stay in the US. Fans have shut down public sympathy, and the man she once controlled emotionally is no longer chasing her. Yet, even now, she may still believe she can return or reinvent herself elsewhere. Whether she fades out quietly or fights back loudly, whether she tells her side or keeps it buried, whether Gino speaks out or remains silent, this moment marks the end of era and the beginning of another.